Hello there everyone, and welcome to a new review on the channel. And today we're looking at an older product that I've owned for quite some time, and I've recently upgraded a bit of my apparatus. I'm going to tell you what in a moment, and I've started using this more and more because of what I bought recently. So I've been starting to use this more. I've been enjoying performing it. It's been getting good reactions, and I think it's time for me to make a review of it since I've basically had it for quite a long time. So the object of today's video is Totem by ALAKAZAM and Henry Harris. So let's roll the intro and get straight into the review. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Totem. So what is Totem? Totem is essentially a routine where the Spectre is going to go through a journey and play a game of which hand, most likely, and at the end of their journey, everything that you had predicted was in their hand from the start. Now, I had filmed a presentation of this, but it was 5 minutes long, okay? So I was doing it to the camera, just me and the camera, acting like if you were my Spectre, and it was 5 minutes long, and my videos are already kind of long. So I've decided to just explain to you what the effect is in its entirety, and kind of speed through the process as to not perform it and bore you for so long. So essentially the effect is as so. You would start out with a Spectre in a conversation. You tell them that you want to warm up with something quick. So you would ask your Spectre to just, at every question that you ask, to just say the first thing that pops in their head, to not think about it. Then you would ask them what's their favorite color. They name a color. To name any number between 1 and 10, they name a number. To name a food, they would name a food. So you go through this process. And this is essentially just a warm-up where you bounce off your Spectre's answers and you just do a random section of events that may help you in the end of the routine, or they may not. It doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about that more later on as well. You then proceed to give them a chocolate coin. You give it in their hand. You tell that now you're going to do a small adventure with them. You proceed to tell them that you're at a train station with 2 trains, one on the right, one on the left. You ask them, where's the train on the right going? They'll say an X destination. You then say, okay, let's imagine the train on the left goes to this destination. Then you ask them to place this in their hands, and then you tell them, okay, if it's in this hand, you're going to think of this destination. If it's this hand, you're going to think of this destination. Show us which hand it is. Okay, so you're going to think of that. You then do that 2 more times with different things, with flowers and with activities. And after that, you tell them, perfect. So you've done a journey in your mind. And after this journey, you've ended up in Paris. You bought some roses. And you also went to the museum with me and we looked at some paintings and you chose the Mona Lisa, right? But not only that, you remember at the start when I asked you to name a color, you named red. I asked you to name a number between 1 and 10, you said 7. And you also remember I told you if you were to give me a red 7, either 7 of hearts or 7 of diamonds, you gave me one. Which one did you give me? The 7 of hearts. Now, if you open up this chocolate coin, I actually lied to you. Because inside of the wrapper is not an actual chocolate coin, but it's a poker chip. And on this poker chip, it shows you the Eiffel Tower and Paris. It shows you that it's covered in roses. But not only that, on the backside as well is Mona Lisa, the picture that you chose you would see in the museum. And it's also holding a rose. All your choices were in your hand from the start. But not only that, you had a card at the start that you were thinking of, and that is the 7 of hearts. So that's kind of a quick rundown of the performance and how it would work and how it would look. So yeah, that's pretty much Totem in a sped up, real kind of breezy performance. So now that you know what Totem is, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this at Vanishing Ink, you could buy this directly from Henry, or you can buy this at some other magic shops. I haven't looked at all of them, but personally, I got mine from Vanishing Ink. It's going to set you back $50 US. And what you get is this. 1, you're going to get a specifically made poker chip, just like this, with everything that you need to perform. This poker chip is also, without giving too much away, is also gimmicked in a specific way to allow you to do certain things. You also get 100 of these wrappers that you could either give away or you can reuse. For example, I could just place this back and I could reuse the same wrapper for multiple performances. I know there's refills from them, but if you don't really care, it still looks well. Like I've used this for like the past week in a few performances and it still holds up fine. So you get those wrappers. Then you also get supplied a special device that is going to help you in the witch hand part, okay? Now, I was not familiar with a device like that. It's a very simple, so don't think you're getting anything high tech. It's a very simple device that personally works, but I don't feel confident using, which is why I didn't use this as much as I wanted to initially. Because the device works, as I mentioned, it's going to require practice for you to be sure. But in my hands, maybe because when I start performing, I'm a bit nervous or overthink things in certain moments. I didn't feel the safety net of using the device provided here, but it is provided to you. And the device that I did tell you that is the reason I'm performing this more and more is because I've bought Flux by Pro Mystic and it works a charm. So I can do this routine with a bit of tweaking, but I can do this with no problem and being 100% confident all the time, right? So if you own something like Flux or if you own something like 6 Sense or any other device that I'm kind of talking about that you may know, I'd say this is one of the best routines to use it with. So yeah, I bought that, so it just skyrocketed my use of Totem by Alex Eng and Henry Harries. So that's everything that you get physically, but on top of that, you also get a tutorial, and the tutorial is very good. It goes over everything you need to know, every single path that the routine can move through. It has a really nice PDF that can help you organize things mentally to know how you're going through this. It has a lot of subtleties. It's a very, very good tutorial. I watched it through and through, and it's just a really good one. Like, you understand every subtlety that goes into this when you're done watching. That's everything that you get with your purchase. So, having said that, let's talk difficulty. So what is the difficulty of this effect? And I will go as much as saying, if you get familiar with the device in the box and you're 100% sure you can nail it, or you own another apparatus that can do a better job, then this is basically, I would almost go as far as saying self-working if you're familiar with mentalism, okay? And what I mean by this is that the first part of the routine is designed as a warm-up. And what's beautiful about that is that the warm-up is designed as a way for you to practice psychological forces that you may have. So yes, you can use the one with the card, but you can also use anything. If you want to try a psychological force of, let's say, a spider or an apple or whatever you want to try and force, you use that first section as that, since you say it's a warm-up and it doesn't matter. And I love that idea, is that you can get to practice these things that we're afraid to practice for real in the terms of a routine where if it doesn't have any sense, it will never be revealed that it was important because you say outright it wasn't important. And if it does hit, you remember and you tell them, you know, even when you think of things that may not be important and you think out of the top of your head, you can still be influenced. Since you thought of one object to place in my hand, what did you place? An apple. And you open the wrapper and instead of it saying the 7 of hearts, it says apple, right? So that requires practice. That requires practice if you want to force other items except the card, because the card is super easy to do. He tells you how to do it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, the first section of the routine is basically yours to do, how far you want to try and go psychologically or how simple. Then the second part of the routine is basically foolproof. If you're good with the device that is provided to you, or you own, as I mentioned, another one, it will not fail. The routine will work. You will get your hit. You will get the journey that you need the spectator to go on, and it will work flawlessly. So it is not hard. It will just require a bit of scripting and a bit of chops as a performer to make this feel the less constraining as possible and the more free as you can make it. So difficulty-wise is not that hard, but it will require a bit of finesse. Now, let's talk about practicality. So what do you need to perform this? So in its simplicity, you need this. So you just need this, the wrapper, with this so you can place this in your wallet, in your pocket. And then you need the device that will let you the extra prop, if you want, that's going to let you do the witch hand effect. So no matter what that prop is, whether it's Flux, whether it's Sixth Sense, whether it's what's provided here, you're going to have to carry that around with you. But all of these props are very small, so you can easily put them in a pocket or somewhere to have them when you need to. So in terms of carrying capacity, it's very small for this effect. You really don't need to carry around much. In terms of inspectability, everything can be inspected at the end. There's no problem regarding that. Things can be inspected. In terms of reset, as long as you can either reuse the gold foil or you can have some gold foils in your pocket or in your wallet that are prepared and you just switch it out. So the reset takes you maybe 2 seconds. It's super, super quick. In terms of angles, I would say you could do this 360 easily without any issues. There's not, except for maybe depending again on the prop that you use to achieve the witch hand. It depends on that. So I would say 360, just no one looking under, maybe, right? Depending on what you use. In terms of table, you don't need a table. This can be done fully standing up. It can be done on a table if you want. And yeah, it's pretty practical. Not much to carry around and not many restrictions that you have to be wary of in terms of performing. Now let's talk about where do you perform this. So where do you perform this routine? I think this routine can play anywhere. I think it can play on stage, parlor, close-up. Of course, it cannot play on Zoom or things like that, but anywhere with physical spectators, I think it could play out. The only thing that you need to take care of it is that it is a longer routine, right? So this is not something you're gonna go and do in a minute. This is gonna maybe take you 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, depending how involved your spectators are in the routine and in the build-up. So it's not something super, super quick that you're going to do. If you have a bit of time, then you're going to do this. I think that's the only constraint because you can do this parlor, stage, cabaret, walk around, table hopping, wherever you want. This can be done as long as you have the time to do it. So where to perform really depends on how much time you have and also the noise, right? You don't want to do this where the spectator is going to have to keep constantly saying, what did you say? What did you say? What am I supposed to do? Right? You don't want that. So just be wary of kind of this sound barrier since this is a very verbal trick and the time. That's pretty much it. So having said all of that, what is the positives and negatives of Totem? First, let's start with the negatives. So what are the negatives of Totem? Well, one of the negatives of Totem is the device that is provided, for me at least, to do the witch hand. It didn't reassure me when I used to do it. It did work. It did work, but every time I did use it, I felt that, oh my God, I may be missing, or I didn't have the confidence or the safety net that I wanted to have from it, but it is still good to get you started and get you practicing, okay? Additionally, you only are instructed, even though the tutorial is great, and I know that it wasn't within the realm of what's supposed to be taught here, but you only get taught how to kind of psychologically force a playing card. So if you want to force other things, you're going to have to either look at Peter Turner's work, Michael Murray's work, or some other books or videos that you can find online in order to practice other psychological forces since you're only provided with the card, okay? Having said that, let's get into the positives. One, the chip is really well made. The instructional video is great. You get a lot of foils and they can be reused. It's a very well structured routine, and the fact that I love that the first phase is a safety net for your psychological forces to just go out and test them, because a lot of us are scared of going out to do a psychological force and it missing, but this gives you basically a 100% safety net because it's never meant to be part of the routine. It's just there if ever it hits. You can do a callback to it, but if not, it's never going to be re-explained or in the mind of the spectator, which is great. It's relatively easy to do. You can do it pretty much anywhere, and it's super, super practical. So, having said all of this about Totem, would I recommend it and what do I rate it out of 10? So, would I recommend Totem? I think that if you're someone that owns one of the more high-tech, expensive devices like Flux, Sixth Sense, etc., I think this is a must-do routine in those cases since it's going to work flawlessly and it's really going to be a fooling and baffling routine. However, if you don't own one of those devices and plan on buying one, this will definitely kickstart you towards buying that, and you're definitely going to use it. However, if you don't plan on buying one, you don't own one, but you feel you like this routine, you like what it's doing, I think that you're going to be well enough with what's provided here to do it if you practice it enough. So overall, I recommend this. If you like it, I definitely recommend it. You will not be disappointed with your purchase, since you're also going to have this for the rest of your life as long as you don't lose it. So what do I rate Totem out of 10? I would give Totem an 8.5 out of 10. It's a very good product, and I think that if the device here I would have felt more confident with, I would have boosted the rating, but for me, I didn't really feel it. But if I am to use it as I am now with Flux, I'm giving it a 9.5 since it's very good and I perform it everywhere now that I have a bigger safety net. So that's all I had to say about Totem by Alex Ng or Alex NG. I'm not sure how you say it. I know that some people say Ng, so that's how I'm pronouncing it. And Harryus. That's my review of it. I hope you enjoyed. If ever you have any comments, leave them down below. If not, I'll see you all in my next review. Have a good one, and bye-bye.